Hey guys, Callie Fab here, and today I wanted your guys' advice. I need help on which palette to choose for my 2019 That palette because whatever one I choose, I want to get started like soonish. Like very soon. So I already know one of the palettes that's going to be in this is going to be a baby pan that palette. I know Paula from A Beauty Guru made me do it, does a baby pan that palette and a regular pan that palette. But I'm going to officially put this in as a baby pan that palette for these two shades. I'm going to try to make as much progress as I can on these two, but once these two shades are gone, this palette is gone. And I have been working on this palette for so freaking long, I can't get it out. So this is going to officially be my baby pan that palette for next year. I do love this palette. I get the same look out of it every time, but I always get compliments on this look, so I'm okay with doing that. Okay, so these are all the palettes that I have to use as my regular pan that palette. So I'm just gonna run through them, show you them. I don't have crazy visible use on any of them. Just to be totally honest, I rotate through my palettes so frequently, but I want to get a palette completely used up next year. So the first one is the Balm's Nude Tude palette. All of these are very neutral palettes too, by the way, because I don't use color very often. I am a very neutral and natural girl at heart. So this is what it looks like. I have been loving this palette. I have been trying to pair this palette every time I use it, and I've just been really enjoying this palette. Obviously, I have not used every single shade in here, but I have quite enjoyed using it. So this is my first option for my pan that palette, and whatever option you guys think I should do, please leave a comment down below and let me know like what your first and second choices for me to pan are. I chose most permanent palettes in collections because if I love the palette and I want to buy it again, I want to be able to buy it again. I don't want to pan a palette that I'm never going to be able to buy again. I know they're always coming out with new and better. I totally get that, but I wanted to pick palettes that are permanent staples in the collection. The next one is my Lorac Pro palette. So the theme for the next year is Pan as Old as Time. I think I can say that because it is posted on the Facebook group, the Fantastic Ladies Facebook group. This was one of my very first high-end palettes I ever purchased. It is one of my older ones, and it is very loved. You guys can tell it is a very loved and used palette, but the problem with this one is that I get kind of bored using it sometimes. But I think if I really dive into these deeper colors over here, I can have a little bit more fun with this palette. I do really like the color payoff of this palette. I do get a lot of fallout on my eyes with this one, but I definitely think I could pan this whole thing in a year. I think that would definitely be doable. These pans are very small, and I think I would be able to handle panning this, and this one's very old. Okay, so the next palette is one that I also purchased many moons ago, a long time ago. I should probably look at the year that this was made, but it is the original Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. I know tons of people have panned this, and I think that they're gonna revamp this palette or get rid of it or something. I would be totally okay with panning this palette, and I think this is a gorgeous palette. Based on everybody else's panning abilities, I really think I would only be able to get through about half of this palette in a year, which is why if this is the palette that we choose together, then I want to get started on it like now, like right now, like tomorrow. So that is another choice, is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. The other Too Faced palette that I have is one of my very first tin palettes, and it's one of the smaller tin palettes. It is the Too Faced Country palette. I love this palette. It is so beautiful. It does have a little bit more color variation to it with the pinks and the blues and silvers and the purple. And I do think that this one would be a really fun like palette to pair with other palettes. I think that this would go well with my baby pan that palette as well. So that is why this one is in here, and I would be totally fine using this up. I can definitely use this classic color as a highlighter shade too. It is so beautiful. It's like a very iridescent highlighter. So I might use that like that, but let me know if this is your choice and what combinations. These shadows are starting to get a little bit drier in here too, which is another reason why I definitely want to start using it, because I don't want it to go bad. So that is another choice. And then the final choice, this is not a palette that is permanent in their collection, but I do have a backup of this palette. Why did I buy two? I honestly don't know. Maybe to like resell at some point or something. I really don't know why I have an extra one of these, but this is the Lorac Mega Pro 3 palette, and to be totally honest, I haven't used it very much at all. I can tell that I've definitely used it, but just not very much. So this one is a very big palette. I think it's got 32 shadows in it, and it is a very, very nice color range. It has like this really beautiful pink here. It has like a silver and blues. It's got a dark purple up here. It's got like the cranberry shade up here, and it's got obviously a bunch of the neutral tones over here. And in the middle, I definitely think this one could be a staple palette for the year. But the problem with this palette is that I have another one in my collection. So I would be perfectly fine panning this one because I do have another one. So let me know. I'm really, really leaning towards this one just because I think this could be a true everyday palette and I could get different looks out of this palette, more so than the other ones that I have. I don't plan on neglecting every other palette in my collection. Like, let's be real. I'm still gonna use those other palettes. But I do plan on incorporating the palette of our choosing, because I need your help, the palette of our choosing into this next Pan That palette. I have not done a Pan That palette yet, and this will be my first time, hence the reason I am really asking for some help from you guys. So these are all of our choices here. So we have the Balm's Nude Tude, the Lorac Pro palette, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette, the Too Faced Country palette, and the Lorac Pro 3 palette. So let me know what your choice is down in the comments below. I'm really, really curious to see what you guys would be interested in seeing, because I would do monthly updates on this. I'm gonna keep my updates very, very short, show you before and after, and let you know if I'm getting bored of it, how I'm using it, stuff like that. I don't plan on doing like the 10-minute long updates because that's crazy. Anyways, because you know, everybody just wants to see the before and after anyways. So please let me know. Like I said, this one is going to be my mini Pan That palette. Maybe, I mean, if I get these two shades done before the end of the year, I plan on going really, really hard on this palette here very soon. And I don't know. We'll see, guys. Let me know what you guys think, which ones you'd want me to do. Give me like a first and second choice. Like, your first choice would be the Chocolate Bar palette, but the second choice would be the Balm's Nude Tude palette. Let me know which one you guys would really like to see me do, and which one maybe be realistic. This one might not be as realistic as the other ones, but I do know that there is a lot of kick up and a lot of fallout with these shadows, so I might actually be able to get through that very quickly. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very, very curious, and I need your help because I cannot decide and I need help. So I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.